Hey, what's up? So this video is about what it means to have a rock. Is something that I touched on a little bit in my last video, and I just thought I would elaborate on it a little bit more, because I think it's an interesting concept. So a rock is, to me, is anything that you essentially use for stability. I mean, the idea, or like the idea or the analogy is like, say there's a river and there's a rock in it. The rock is something that you can crawl onto, where you find stability, it's like a safe space. It's a place where you, like a refuge, essentially, something that isn't going to slide out from under your feet, something that you can trust on, that you can have faith in, that you can put your that you can cling on to if you need, so that as the water is rushing around you, so that you don't get carried away, so that it doesn't drag you off, so that you have something that you can just, yeah, like I said, a safe space. And so that for myself is a number of things. One of my rocks is certainly yoga. I have a yoga practice which I adore. It gives me something that I'm constantly making progress on, that I can see the progress that I've made. Sometimes I don't always see it in the short term, and I do question, it's like, wow, am I ever getting any better? But then I think about where I was a year ago or 2 years ago, and it's like, oh yeah, I'm good. Like I'm making considerable, consistent effort, and it's nice to see. It's like, okay, yeah, I'm so it helps in that sense. And it's just, amidst everything else that's going on in life, it's something that that is steady. So it's like you can like, when I guess, when the chips are up, I do yoga. When the chips are down, I do yoga. It's sort of like just something that's always there for me. And it's, whether I have a partner, a romantic partner or not, it's something that's just, I can always rely on. It never lets me down. It's always there. Like I said, like a rock that's in the middle of a river, or and so that it can be, a number of things. It's not like it's just, for myself, it's yoga. Another part of it, which includes meditation, is a self-practice. It's something that is very special to me, that I don't, and so, like, but it could be, like, another rock for me is philosophy. Having certain strings of words that I can bring up that can help me to deal with the circumstances and situations that life presents me with, makes all of the difference. Like, things like, well, that's the difference between knowing what you're talking about and talking what you know about. Just like little phrases, little maxims, aphorisms, like little things, or like, say what's one that we say is, he without sin cast the first stone. It's like when people, or it's like, what they say when you're pointing fingers, like just little things like that makes you say, oh yeah, that's right. Relax, or calm down, or just, don't, so little things like that. Philosophy is absolutely a rock for me. It makes it, I don't know where I would be without it. A very unprincipled person, I suppose, because I wouldn't be working off of these teachings that have been handed down by great people. And so there's definitely that. But I mean, it could be, sometimes I think a rock, it could be that romantic partner, or somebody like a friend that you can really confide in, where you have rapport with, meaning like somebody who understands you on like a deep level, and they, so that when you're going through whatever it is, they kind of know how to handle with you. You have a relationship which is solid, like a rock. And so that's special. And whether that is a friend, a platonic friend, or a romantic partner, I mean, for myself, I could see that being quite ideal, because then you got like your rock that is always there with you, that you can confide in, that you trust, that you can call upon anytime you need strength, anytime that you need something to hold on to, as you navigate your way through life. Because it's one of these things to say is like, life is amazing, but it's also a maze. And so it helps to have something that can help you to navigate, to guide through, something that serves as like a guiding light, that can, when things get all out of hand and whatnot, you can call upon that, and at least you got that. And if you just continue with that, it's enough to get you through those times, and the rest of the time you'll figure it out. So that's one of the things. I mean, it could be your parent. Like some people be like, my mom, she's my rock. And that is how it is for me. My mother isn't with me physically, but she passed a few years ago, but I have a different relationship with her now, where I always call upon her and I talk to her in the moments when I need to. And I would say that I feel her presence. I mean, it's a tricky one to put your finger on, because I don't want to be misleading and make it out like, oh, I can feel her like holding me or, comforting me in that way. But to me, it's enough just to know that I have a mom and that she loves me. And so there's stuff like that. I know that in the past, for myself, when I used to walk the path of plant medicine was a rock for me. I worked heavily with the sacred mushroom for many years. I had to have an intimate relationship with that plant teacher, and she showed me many things and helped me through all of the times whenever there was something that was below the surface that I couldn't put my finger on, but I could tell was affecting the way that I was handling myself in life situations. I would call upon that medicine to bring it forward and to help me with a different perspective, a different way of looking at things, and so that I could come to terms with whatever it was that I was going through. So certainly plant medicine is an available thing. I mean, and for anyone, anytime. But if that's your thing, right? I mean, not everybody is interested in the kind of substances which can shift your perspective, because it brings things up. Like, I know some people, myself, like, say, never mind, some people, like, back in the day when I would smoke weed, I would get this anxiety, and I remember I used to blame the weed. I'd be like, oh, the weed causes this, and it's like, no, the weed is a teacher, and it is bringing up something. It is showing you the anxiety that you have within you. It is not the cause of your anxiety. It is a teacher which is pointing something out so that you can be aware of it and address it, work with it, and work through it, and then move beyond it. So very important distinction, I think. I was talking with a friend today about having a rock, and something he brought up was like a motorbike. Because if you've ever had a motorbike, ridden a motorbike, there's something about being out there on the open road, and it's different than when you're in a car. Because in a car, you got turn the heater on, turn the tunes on, and you're protected by this kind of shell. Whereas like when you're out there on the road, you have to have you have to be fully present, because it's dangerous to be unprotected. You're just there, the bike, you and the road, but it's exhilarating too, because you're in the zone. You have to be paying attention, or else you could seriously get hurt or hurt somebody else. So there's something about that, about being able to go out there. Maybe if you have like a situation where you have a motorbike and you're having troubles at home or something like that, and like you just need to go for a ride to clear your head, and you can do that. You can zone out and just be one with the motorbike, with the road, with the experience, and just kind of, in a sense, forget about some of the whatever might be troubling you for long enough to get centered and get grounded and find a little bit of peace, so that when you re-enter whatever your situation is, you can do it from a place of peace and composure and calmness and relaxation and mindfulness. So it helps. And I mean, to me it's the same with yoga, because with yoga you have to be paying attention to what you're doing. It is at least yoga as I know it, and I just mean practicing the asana, stretching, it's you can hurt yourself doing it. Like I said, I've hurt myself once practicing yoga because I was going too hard, essentially. I wasn't paying attention to needing to rest and stuff like that, and I was kind of forcing myself to do it. But you have to pay attention, especially to do it properly. You have to, there's breathing and where your attention is, and then just going and having your alignments correct and things like that. I mean, certainly doing handstands and forearm stands and stuff like that. You know, you fall wrong, you can get hurt, and then what are you going to do if you don't take care of yourself? So yeah, I mean, I just really like that idea of having a rock, you know. I know back in the day, something that was important for me, I mean, it still is, but was having plants. I always liked taking care of plants, because they rely on you for everything at that point. If they're potted and whatnot, it is up to you to ensure their well-being. Some of them may survive with neglect. Neglect is a form of abuse, and if you're okay with that, that's your thing. But for me, I like to see them thrive. I like to see them happy, and to respect that relationship between yourself and a plant. And I always found them to be comforting too when I was in times of need, when I was being challenged by life, just to have these things that I could just be in their presence. And you know, they don't say anything, but I guess if you feel them. So yeah, I think that's all that I have to say about it. I mean, it's not a super complicated subject. I just think that it's important to have something in life, because it, you know, at least for myself as a single man, and certainly living life on the road, it can be lonely out there. And you know, it can be, you know, sometimes the path that I walk to, I feel a bit alienated, just because where I'm coming from with stuff isn't always where everybody else is at. And so, man, you know, in this life, in this world, it just helps to have a little something that you can rely on to help get you through. And yeah, like I said, that's yoga and meditation and philosophy for me. But yeah, that's about it.